Welcome to Divine Downloads. Do you want to connect with your intuition more? Create more abundance in your life? Make difficult decisions effortlessly? You're in the right place. The universe is in constant communication with you. Let's quiet the mind, connect with the divine, and allow the wisdom to load. I'm your host, Doris, abundance coach, intuitive channel, and financial consultant. Let's take a deep breath together and dive into the world of the divine. Hi, guys. Welcome to the very first episode of Divine Downloads. I'm really excited to begin. Today, our topic is set. I've decided to talk about why I quit my job and it felt so right. And also, we're going to talk about some myths on financial freedom. So this is gonna be kind of messier than maybe some other episodes because this is the first one. I'm not fully sure on the format, but I definitely want this to be a meditative experience. The name of the podcast is Divine Download, so it needs to be an open channel for divination and for receiving and for channeling. So I think I already introduced myself in the intro, but I'm gonna do it once again just for housekeeping reasons. So my name is Doris. I'm a financial consultant. I'm also an intuitive channel. I'm a moon witch. I'm a cat lover. If you're watching the video, you can see my guardian angel cat is sitting right behind me, supporting me throughout this whole journey. And yeah, I just have a really deep connection with the moon and with cats, so I feel like that has to be mentioned in there. And I do meditation, yoga, tarot, all the things, all the things. And I really see myself as a vessel for receiving guidance. I do have defined centers in my crown and in my third eye, so I am very open to seeing many things that maybe some other people don't see, and I'm a very open channel for receiving and seeing and insight. So I feel it is my purpose and it's my contribution to society to speak on these things that I see that maybe don't go fully mentioned and talked about and all the things. But before we fully dive into the story time, I want us to come to a place of groundedness. Let's take a deep breath in together through the nose and exhale through the mouth. One more time, let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Fill up the air all the way in your chest and hold it for a bit. And exhale, sigh it out. The more space we create in our mind, in our body, the more we allow for divine information and wisdom to come forth. If you really think about it, we are having upwards millions and millions of thoughts per day, and I think research and science has proved that 90 or 80% of the thoughts are the same exact thing over and over again, and that can't be good for us, and that can't really have a purpose either. So I always find one or two points of focus, the breath, objects, anything that can bring you back to the present moment as an anchor. I find it really helps to stop the chatter and stop the noise in the head. Okay, and I am shuffling some cards for today's energies. I got the Judgment and the Magician card, and these are both major arcanas, and they're both very deep in their meanings. I mean, every card in the tarot has a very deep, layered, integrative definition, but the Magician is telling you that you have all the resources that you could have needed to make the life that you desire. And you don't need to gain more skills, you don't need to gain more training, you don't need to gain more things, you don't need to accumulate stuff in order to reach the place that you want to reach in life. You can have it all with all the tools that you already have, with all the experiences and all the lessons that you've already gained in your life. The Magician is such a good reminder that you're good. If you want to be somewhere, if you want to do something, if you want to take any action towards any specific project, goal, creative endeavor, you can do it. You don't need to wait. You don't need more training. You don't need more things. You don't need more equipment. You can start with what you have, and the rest, the universe will find a way to fill up the gaps. And I feel that really blends in nicely with the story that we're going to tell today about quitting my job and the reasons behind it and the rationale and why I thought that was a good idea. And then the next card, we have the Judgment card. Also very, very related to today's story that we'll get into. The Judgment is all about receiving. Imagine you've gone through many things in your life, many journeys, you've traveled, you've climbed a whole mountain, and it's Judgment Day. You are going to receive either good or maybe it's karma. It's a karmic card. And the Judgment is here to remind you that if you're putting the work into something, or if you are showing up where you need to show up, fulfilling the things that feel important to you, then you will be rewarded accordingly from and by the world and the universe and God. And Judgment Day means all the things that you worked for, you will finally receive the fruits of your labor. At least that's how she's showing up for me today. Really feels like a card of, you worked so hard, here's the reward. Or you've been so brave, here's the reward. And the meaning of Magician and Judgment together, again, so aligned with the story of today and kind of the reasoning behind my things and my steps. You have all that it takes. Just trust the universe and know that if you do what feels right, nothing can go wrong. You need to trust that you have what it takes, you have enough resources, you have enough tools, you have enough experiences, and that if you put all of these experiences and channel them into a project, into a product, into whatever, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. And Judgment Day has to come sooner or later. So it's really an invitation to take a risk, take that leap of faith. Say yes. If something's on your mind, just do it. And I think this is a perfect transition to my story and exactly what was on my mind when I decided to quit my job. So a little background story. I started working at this firm. It's a finance firm. I was an administrative assistant, and I started working here after graduating from university. And I worked here for a year. And throughout this year, I always had in the back of my mind that I want to quit and focus all of my energy into my business. I started Door to Unity, my business, which originally started as a yoga, tarot, and astrology business back in 2021. And I wanted it to become the next thing. I wanted it to be the project that I end up working on. I had no interest in anything other than that. Even before going to university, I had no interest in getting an education because I didn't deem it as important. For me, what was important is taking action towards this desire that I have of creating a business, making something of myself, helping people. And that was delayed because parental ideas. My parents wanted me to go to university, get an education, and I am actually very glad that I did. But even at that young of an age, at 18, 17, I didn't want to go through a conventional path of go to university, get a job, that's it. I wanted to do something more purposeful. And I had all these spiritual tools, and I've been a deeply spiritual person since a very, very, very young age. And I knew that with all these tools and with my gifts, I can help people in a way that they need, in a way that the world needs. I'm someone that the world needs. And I think every single one of us listening to this, you have a gift that the world needs that is not being fully developed, and it's not being fully captured, and it's not being fully channeled in a regular constraint of societal ideas of a 9 to 5, or just working for a company. And obviously I'm taking into account the financial and the money aspect of things. I know that we need money to survive, and by no means this is encouraging anyone to quit their job and do this and do that and take a risk and all of this stuff. Take a risk listening to your intuition, but not because you're hearing someone else's story and it sounds like you should do the same. I believe that everyone can make decisions, the best decisions with the best outcome, if they listen to their intuition. That's kind of what this whole podcast is about. It's about tapping into your own divine wisdom. It's about receiving those divine downloads with yourself and following a path that just feels so right. And for me, when I started this job, I knew that this is not going to be my job forever. I worked here for a year. I liked the job. I liked the people of the job. I liked the office. I liked the environment. I liked it. I really did. But I went to Mexico for a trip, and in my trip, I felt such freedom, and I felt such a pull towards quitting my job and working on my business. And I think what kind of kept me back was I didn't think I had the focus and the discipline to wake up and put my attention and my energy towards my business. I needed an exterior force to tell me to wake up, to go here, to do the thing. And to an extent, I think that's one of the biggest fears that many people have. They think if they quit their job, it's not going to mean that they're going to put their focus and attention on what they're passionate about, because we don't even know where to start. And that's kind of what kept me back from saying yes to this desire to fully go into my business, 100% of my attention, energy, and intention into it. And through time, I realized that I trust myself, and I trust that if I'm quitting my job, it's for the reason of living a higher timeline. It's for a reason of trusting that this pull that I have, this universal gravitational pull that I have towards pursuing this thing, even if that thing is not fully formed yet, is something that I need to say yes to, and is something that I owe to myself and other people to discover and to see how impactful and how influential it can become. And I think we all have this. We all have certain pulls because we're all part of a collective. If I'm having this experience of like, oh, I want to quit my job and I want to go towards my passion, I want to pursue my business, I want to help people, I want to do this, I want to do that, I know that there is a little bit in every single person that has the same desire. But of course, we're kept where we are because of fears, because of survival, because of all these things. And it's not easy whatsoever to make this type of a decision, make this type of a move, to think, okay, I have what it takes to follow my business, I have what it takes to follow my passion and to go to this path. But the Magician card is here to tell you, yes, you have what it takes. You just have to take it one step at a time. And I think the universe is really here to support you. I think if you're truly trusting your path, you take steps without fear and without anything holding you back. And that in itself is an experience that needs to be experienced, that full trust, because that is something society absolutely does not want us to have. Full trust in what? The only thing we can trust is that we have a stable job and stability and all of this stuff, rootedness and stability are very important in your safety and embodiment of safety. But I think safety can be reached very, very, very easily. Obviously, this depends from person to person, but I can also get more into it in the myths about financial freedom. But I think the thing about safety is that you don't need extravagant amounts of luxuries to feel safe. Feeling safe can be the comfort of a home, some food on the table, friends, loved ones that you can share your heart with, and purpose. I think these four really contain the element of safety. And definitely there's more to that list, but the thing is, we operate for so long from a place of survival that even when all the needs are met and we are surviving and we are able to thrive and reach that higher state of self-actualization and consciousness, we're still operating from this survival because we never feel safe. It's not about having the things that make you feel safe. It's about embodying the safety. And I feel that is something missing. A lot of people are chasing the next thing because that's going to make them feel safe, but that safety will never come if you don't sit down and settle into the safety that you have created within yourself and in your environment. And there's just so much comfort to be had just in the place that you are in life. And I feel that's why I'm such a big advocate for gratitude. You can practice gratitude and shift your focus from fear to thrive, from survival to thriving, from fear to safety. It's really just a simple, consistent, but simple practice. You need to be consistent with it. You need to do it constantly, but you'll see how it shifts your focus. You start to notice the little things that are creating this beautiful life for you. And when you have this perspective, when you see life this way, it becomes so much easier to feel safe, trust, and thrive. So, yeah, that is why I quit my job, because it just felt right. All right, now I really want to get into the myths of financial freedom. So, as I said, I'm pursuing this business, my business, and one of the pillars of my business is abundance, and I am a financial consultant. That is one of the other businesses that I'm pursuing. I have two streams, kind of they tie in together. I have this universal belief that if you are a good-hearted person, if you are someone that likes to help, that likes to build, that likes to have a thriving community, and if you are someone that wants to contribute to a greater sense of togetherness, a greater sense of unity, then it should be your mission to be rich. It should be your mission to reach financial freedom so that you can create the systems. So with that said, let's get into the few myths that I'm going to bust. I'm going to bust some myths. Is that how they say it? Oh, I'm going to debunk some financial freedom myths that exist in the collective consciousness, and rightfully so. So the first one is, I cannot become financially free because it's not a possibility. Okay, first of all, the sheer possibilities in this world are endless. Anything is possible. Anything can be achieved. And there's so many different versions of you existing in this very moment who have already achieved the thing that you want to achieve. So truly, there are no lacks of possibility in this world. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. There's people who can defy gravity because they have this connection with divine, with the universe. There's people who can be fruitarian, or they can be breatharian. They can live off of their breaths. And if you think about what we've been taught by society, no, you need to eat 7 meals a day, you need to have certain nutritions, you need to this, you need to that. There are people who are surviving, even thriving, without any food. They're just breathing. Obviously, they are trained in that. They have opened up their prana channels so that they can just live off of air and sun and maybe water. But the rest of us, we're not trained, so we can't do that. So we need to believe, first of all, that anything and everything is possible. And I also truly, truly, truly believe there's millions and billions versions of you existing at the same time in parallel universes. And at any point in time, you can choose to pay attention to the miracles that exist all around us. Because if you think about it, everything is energy at its core. And energy is never destroyed, it's only transformed. So you can transform your energy into something else. You can shift from this dimension into another. Every single thought form that you've ever had has created and opened up a new portal, a new dimension, a new reality. If you ever thought about yourself as a figure skater, there's a dimension when you are a figure skater. If you ever thought of yourself as, I don't know, anything is possible, right? There is a world where that is existing and that is a possibility. So first, you have to expand your world of possibilities, because truly anything and everything is possible. There's millions of you living out that possibility. And if you even don't believe in the multiple dimensions of you existing at the same time, you cannot deny that at the core, we are all one. And every single person that is experiencing anything has the same chances of experiencing that thing as you. Because we are at the core all the same. We are the same expressions of the same universe, the same God, the same divine. So it's really about channeling that oneness, that higher consciousness, and believing that anything and everything is possible, and cultivating that belief into everything. And stretching your vision as much as possible. I really challenge you, if you think that things are not a possibility in your life, especially things that you wish to live and you wish to experience are not a possibility, I want to challenge you to do a dream life meditation on YouTube, on a meditation app. I'm thinking of working on a dream life meditation to tap into your wildest, craziest dreams and play with the realm of possibility. Just see where you can take yourself. If all of your craziest dreams that your mind doesn't allow you to go there because you don't think it's possible, how does it feel just in your mind, just as a thought experiment, just as a daydream? And expand your horizon of possibilities, stretch your vision. And also another thing about that is, you might say, okay, but that's a delusion and it's not real. That's just delulu. Then I say life is what you perceive it to be. If you don't believe in magic, you're never going to experience magic. That's it. If you are so adamant about not believing in magic, not believing in universe, not believing in anything, then yeah, you're never going to experience it, because you really need to be open to that possibility. You need to be open to that realm of things existing and things being possible. And yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Anything and everything is possible, whether you believe it or not. Second, this is a big one. I'm not healed enough to reach financial freedom. You don't need to finish healing. You will never finish healing. Healing is not a linear journey, and it will forever continue. You don't need to reach a certain level of healing in order to finally be financially free. You can be financially free and heal at the same time. These two are not against each other. It's not one or the other. You can be both at the same time, healing and financially free. And truly, the whole I need to be healed narrative, it feels new age because it is acknowledging that we all have wounds that we carry within us, and there's healing to be done. We all need healing. The collective consciousness healing, so our individual selves also need healing. But it's also very deeply rooted in you are not whole and you are not perfect as you are. And there's a consistent need to be better, to do more. And that in itself is lack. At the core of it is lack. Yeah, I'm not healed enough. I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. That all comes from a place of lack. And healing is the same. Healing, needing to be perfectly healed, comes from a place of lack. You don't need to be healed. Healing is not linear. Healing is a continuous journey with life. And you don't need to fully heal to do anything. Nothing. Some people have this idea that, oh, I can't love someone if I don't love myself. That is not true. You don't need to be healed in self-love to love someone else. You have unconditional, immense, unlimited, unbearing love and access to it at all times. And you can give that. You can give that out at all times. When you shift your perspective from lack to one of abundance, you realize that you don't need to reach a certain place and be enough at a certain time, because that is never going to arrive. You just have to acknowledge that you are whole and perfect here in this moment. You don't need continuous things to be whole and perfect and well. You are everything. You are whole right now. Okay, third thing, it's too hard to be financially free. And this is one that I think is the most common. It's not impossible. Obviously, there's a realm of possibilities. I don't need to heal to reach financial abundance. I can have financial freedom and heal at the same time. But it's too difficult. It's too hard. And I can't do it. This is one of my favorite ones to debunk because it is true. It's not easy, but it is simple. However, 90% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck, and they will continue to live paycheck to paycheck until the end of their lives. Only 10% of the population will reach financial freedom in this lifetime. And that's because why? It's not because they're making more money. A lot of the people who are in the 10% category, who are not living paycheck to paycheck, they make even less than the person who lives paycheck to paycheck until the end of their lives. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's not about the salary. It's not about how much money you bring home. It's about what you do with it. And that 10% of the population that will reach financial freedom, they don't have the highest income, but they have the mindset. And they save and they grow and they know the wealth formula. And it's not, like I said, it's not hard. It's simple. It's not hard. It's easy. And it's doable. It really does take, first and foremost, financial literacy. And that is why I'm such a big advocate for financial literacy. You don't need to go and do the research yourself. You can go to a financial advisor and gain the help. And if you are someone who's interested in financial literacy, I'm offering financial literacy for free. And it would be lovely for me to sit down with you and chat. I offer my services online as well as in person. So whatever is more comfortable for you if you are located in Canada and you would like to become more financially literate. I especially offer my services to women, artists, spiritualists, and entrepreneurs. So if you are any of these and you would like to become more financially literate, I'm here for you. Hit me up. So yeah, like I was saying, 10% of the population will reach financial freedom because of mindset, because of financial literacy, because they know the wealth formula, because they save, because they grow, because they protect themselves. And one of the key things to note about that 10% is that they have their savings and their investments calculated in their expenses. The people living paycheck to paycheck, the 90% of the population, they might save, but they're not getting the biggest growth on their savings. They're not investing in the right things. And completely valid to not, because the systems in place, they're not really built for the average person to reach highest highs of wealth. What do we learn in school? You need to become a really high earner in order to live a good life. But there's people who are high earners, lawyers, doctors, really good jobs, high in the corporate ladder. However, they're still living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because they don't know the wealth formula. So get your financial literacy, learn your wealth formula, save, invest, grow your money, protect yourself. And you'll see that it's really, you can start small and you can see the compound effects down the line. So first and foremost, get financial literacy. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's easy and it's simple. However, people will not do it. People will continue to live the same patterns of paycheck to paycheck until their death, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, hopefully you've gained some insight from this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you made it all the way through, shout out to you. And I want to leave a little bonus tarot message for anyone that made it till the end, because I want to give you a reward and I believe that you deserve it. So here is message for listeners that made it to the very end. Okay. The Fool and the Five of Pentacles. This is a very specific message. It's saying, take the leap of faith. It's okay to suffer for a short period of time, but you will reap the rewards down the line because you have all the tools it takes. So take that leap of faith, guys. If you gain nothing out of this podcast, it's to trust the universe and trust your own intuition first and foremost. Okay. That is it from me. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your life, and I'll see you in the next episode.